So, hello everybody and welcome. My name's Sharon King and I'm here with Tanja Velkov. Is that how you pronounce your surname?
It's amazing. You did it.
Awesome, awesome. Names are not my strong point. So we're getting together today because we are both also authors in this awesome book called Return to the Mother World, Ancient Feminine Wisdom in Times of Transition. And today, which is the 22nd of September, is the actual launch day.
Yes.
So we thought we would jump on here quickly and just have a little chat, a little share about who we are, what drew us to being together in this book, and yeah, to tell you a little bit about what you can expect. So, Tanja, would you like to go first? Introduce yourself and tell us what drew you to the book.
Well, it was actually, I was talking with you. You were explaining that you're in this amazing book. And I said, oh, show me. And then, I don't know, it just said like, oh, maybe you can still be in it. And I was like, oh, really? And I didn't know anything about that, but I was in the right place. I was just, I just came from one retreat in Bosnian pyramids, was very open, very in touch with myself, very in a way it was like, oh, everything it's now available for me. I was so open. And then when you said it, I was like, yes. And I was thinking also about other women. And then I was like, okay, why not me? And then I decided to join. And it was like guided. It was not like I was thinking a lot of it, but it was just like guided. I had to do it. I didn't have like much say about it. I was like, yes, okay, I'll do it. Like, okay, mother, great mother. So it was just intuition, intuition.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Women's intuition, absolutely, which is probably part of what the book is all about. It's all about
Definitely.
bringing together the feminine aspect of Mother Earth and what it is that we as women and mothers and grandmothers can offer the world with our presence and our work. So, Tanja, I know we both share a common passion and interest in the EFT and matrix reimprinting world, working with clients, helping them transform their traumas. So would you like to talk a little bit about what you specialize in within that healing realm?
Yeah, so I'm initially I'm a social worker. So I work in the field of mental health for more than 20 years now. And I'm also trained in Gestalt psychotherapy, but I was always drawn to this energy psychology, new tools that are available for us. So then in like more than 5 years ago, I don't know, I was introduced to this matrix reimprinting technique and went to England to learn more about it with Carl Dawson. And I was just amazed how powerful it is. And it's not the only tool. It's also EFT and other tools. They're also very powerful because it combines this other aspect of us, that we can really connect with this field that is around us. So and then the portal was open, and I was just, starting first to use this technique on myself, and like you should, and I was, wow, it's working. And then I was so excited to share it with my clients. And now it's like in my toolbox, like all the time. It's not my only tool, but it's a big one. And I can really see the transformations and how people can quickly access their wounds and really safely communicate with these parts, and how can they integrate then these parts. And, like the shamanic soul retrieval is quite similar. And so we integrate these parts that were like not available for us before. And that makes us more whole and stronger. So that's why I had this chapter. My chapter is named "Putting Pieces of Puzzles Together," because actually that's what we are doing. We in this trauma we had, we like lost these parts, and now we're like reconnecting these wounded parts, like now healed parts, and that makes us really stronger, so that we can also speak like this in these settings and share our truth to the world. So yeah, this is how it all began, and we will continue probably.
Beautiful, beautiful. So would you like to just share a little bit more about what you've actually included in your chapter? I think most of us within the book have kind of written about our own personal journeys with transforming the events in our lives, and also how we help other people with that. So what did you share in your chapter?
Well, it was new for me because I always write it like articles, like professional articles about the techniques, or for therapists and also for the audience. But I never shared my personal transformational stories. So it was like, oh, should I share it or not? But then I said, yes, of course, I should share it, so they can see how the transformation can begin, not just from like I'm the therapist and this is the client's story, but also my story, what makes me me. And so I shared like two main stories. First, I shared little bit of my childhood wounds and how it affected me and how it made me first getting ill and then getting stronger, actually, and all the gifts that it came out from that. And how we can make connections with these wounded parts with us, and what they are like. It's the same like in your chapter. It's actually our soul path, actually, this wound, and there are the strengths then afterwards when we heal them. And then I shared the story of my healing of cancer, thyroid cancer, and I actually just briefly touched it, but I wanted to emphasize that we have the power to heal ourselves, and we shouldn't put our power away. And actually, I talk about that a little bit more. And then the story of motherhood. I always wanted to be a mom. I was not doubting that I will be a mom. But then when we started to, this process with my husband, it became challenging because we couldn't get to conceive. And I touched a bit about this, and how different we were, but his wish to be a parent and my wish. And then when we realized that we couldn't conceive like naturally and what we should do, and I was like, okay, the adoption became like a topic, and I was like, oh my god, this is like I'm giving up or something. But it was not like that. It was actually a new magical story that unfolded with all these gifts, and I had to learn to trust the process. I had to learn to trust my unborn baby, that he will come or she will come in the way that's perfect for all of us, and that's how it happens. And I also would like to share with the world what was for me very important, that I could breastfeed my son. And this is something that a lot of women don't know when they go to this journey of adopting or fostering, especially babies. And when I realized that it is possible, for me that was it. I said, okay, now I'm totally, this is confirmation. Everything will be just perfect, and it was. Then I shared about a little bit of the sacred places, that how powerful they are, so that we can actually take advantage of the power of the sacred places, so that we can accelerate our growth and strengths and everything. So if I wouldn't be there like this summer, probably I wouldn't say yes to this book. Maybe you wouldn't even say that, So how we need to like really be open to that, not just go there like touristically, like see the pyramids or in Egypt or whatever, but just feel the presence and allow the healing from them too. So this was one part of my chapter, and also how I work, and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a lot in one small chapter.
I know. Yes, I
It could
also
be a book.
It could be a whole book. Exactly. As I was writing mine, there was many more.
So much layers,
So
yeah.
much I would like to have added into my chapter too. But I just want to just clarify, just in case people are going like, did I hear right? Did you say that you adopted a child and you breastfed him?
Yes, I did. It was amazing. It was amazing. I didn't actually. I heard that from one adopted midwife. She was adopted, and she told us in one group of future adopted parents. And I was looking around, and like nobody was reacting to that information. It was only me. I was like, oh my God, this is magical. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? But I saw that then the women are not so in touch with their bodies. So it was like, oh yeah, oh, interesting. Nothing, no reaction. And I was really surprised then. And but it is such a gift, if you can have this connection, like physical connection with your son or your daughter, especially if they're adopted, because you are lacking this physical connection from the birth, from the womb part, and so this is like really healing for the pair. And I was starting to explore, and there's some books there, and I had one amazing midwife. She's also professor in our university, and she came and she was like, oh, so excited she could be part of this process. She helped us to latch, and I mean, it was so magical, and we had so much support. We had like amazing moms who were offering us their milk. They had like excess milk, and we had like 10 different mothers offering, yeah, I will offer my milk, and I was like, oh my God. So he had also proper milk, not just formula. And we organized, like my father and my husband just went like every second day to pick up this milk, and I breastfed with the help of it's called like it's in Slovenian. It's like supplement. You just put it like in a bottle, the milk, and you attach it to your nipple, and then he breastfeeds. And you can also produce your own milk, or you can share like this milk and your milk. And you cannot imagine how many hormones it gave me. I was totally boosted. That was like proper breastfeeding. So he was all the time on my breast. He still remembers that, and he's talking about that, like, oh yes, here I drink your milk, and it's yes, you did it. So yeah, this is like something I think that women are not aware of, and not only adoptive mothers or foster mothers, but also mothers. It's like, okay, I'll just give it a formula or something, but it's not like that. If you have the opportunity to do it, you should like harness this opportunity, because it's actually that's the the connection that we can have, like, so it's so much easier. So yeah.
Absolutely.
So this is my passionate part of the story.
Yes, that's really awesome. That has got to be so healing for a child who's been adopted, because as you say, there isn't that natural bonded connection, because he's not been in your womb. You didn't give birth to him.
Yeah.
So
and also
yeah.
I find the power of how because I didn't have a pram. You said pram, and I was just carrying him all the time. And I wrapped him with these like wraps for the babies till 6 months. He's 6 months. He was all the time carried. So it was like he was growing. When he was growing, it looked like I was getting bigger, like because I was zipping him up it was winter, and he was not visible, just my big belly was visible, so we could share like this experience. So it was really healing for me and for him also. Yeah.
Wow. That's super exciting and amazing. Yeah, well done you. Well done you.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, it's so much to share. Yeah. These journeys that we have, like as mothers, daughters, partners, wives. There's so many healings to do and still ahead of us, I think.
Yeah. Absolutely. When I was writing my first book, Heal Your Birth, Heal Your Life, it was fascinating because as I was writing the book, I was going into meditation with the book. I treat the book as its own entity. And I asked one day, what is the purpose? What is your purpose? And what I got back is that babies in the future were not going to need to be birthed through trauma.
That's the way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting that now it dawned me, because you are actually a powerful healer for this birth, traumas and utero traumas, and actually, and I'm here like adopted mother, and now I just realized, how amazing is this?
Yeah. I actually have one story that I shared in my book about a lady who she wanted to do the birth reimprinting process with her adopted mother.
No
she
way.
said, yes, she said, I don't have any, ill feelings towards my birth mother. She said, but I would just like to feel that little bit extra closer to my adopted mother. So we went into the matrix and we did some healing work on her own birth with her, original birth mother. But then her baby self opted to kind of hop into the womb of her adoptive mother. And we then continued and finished off the birth process, including the bonding process that I do with her adopted mum. And what was lovely is that her baby self asked for her birth mother to come in because she wanted to thank her for birthing her onto the earth, because she knew that this woman, her adoptive mum, was meant to be her mum, but she couldn't come through her birth mum because her birth mum couldn't give birth or couldn't get pregnant. So she had to get here somehow. So it's like, taxi, woo.
Made me almost cry.
Yes.
Amazing story. Yeah.
But what was so lovely was that I didn't really expect this to happen. It's not so that when you're in this process, it's not something that you make happen. It kind of just unfolds. And she not only did the bonding process with her adoptive mum, but she then did it with her birth mother as well. And like she had her adoptive mum holding her and her both birth mother supporting her, and her adoptive father came in, and that was the picture that we kind of finished off with, and it was so yummy.
God, that's amazing. You gave me idea now, more ideas.
There's another session coming up there.
Definitely. Amazing. Yeah, so this is how healings can happen for all these parts of us that actually are waiting. I mean, to be integrated, actually.
Yeah.
Amazing. Maybe you can tell about a little bit about now, because you open up now the story, and you're like amazing storyteller, I must say. I read your chapter, and I was like, oh my God, she should write a book. It was so easily read. I mean, it was like a small book. It looked like a small book. I was totally immersed, especially in the story of your fiancé. It was really powerful. But first story, it was with your mom and this toxicity that you had, like when you were in the womb.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't think about that so much, but how how I was thinking about that because my son had like really toxic pregnancy. So that's why I was thinking that more. But when I read your chapter, I was like, oh my God, just like small things are really harmful, but
Yes,
actually they're not small. And how did it affect you, and how you make the connection, you know, afterwards. It's like, how my first thought was, how can we know? How can we know? But then I remembered, yes, of course, our bodies know, and we have to trust the bodies and follow the lead. But can you tell
exactly.
a little bit, yeah, about your
Yeah.
chapter, about your stories inside
Yeah.
your
Well,
chapter?
well, when there's something there that's not right is because, I mean, in the therapy word, we use the word trigger,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's like when something happens and you feel very uncomfortable, and the event itself isn't really that big, but
Mm-hmm.
when you're experiencing it, you feel like it's more than it actually is. Your logical mind goes, well, this isn't really life threatening, but your body is responding as if it is.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it was sitting in a restaurant in Prague. At the back of this restaurant, with no windows, only air conditioning that didn't really work. Everybody in the room was smoking. And having come from a toxic womb and grew up, I had a childhood of my mum and dad both smoking in the house. I felt trapped. I felt very, very trapped, and just wanted to run. And I couldn't really run because I felt like it would be a bit rude to leg it, from the room. And when I really felt into it, it's like, well, what does this remind me of? Well, it's kind of like a place with no escape that's
Mm-hmm.
full of toxicity.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, yeah, this reminds me of being back in the womb. And when I did the session with Sasha Allenby, the lady who wrote the first Matrix Reimprinting book with Carl, and she said to me, like, where do we need to start with your birth story? And I said, well, actually, we need to start like last week in Prague, because I was so triggered by everybody smoking, but it made me realize just how toxic the womb must have felt to my baby self. So sure enough, we go and visit my baby self in the session, and there was all of this toxicity that was going on. And it was like, because I'd kind of studied so much, I know that babies drink the amniotic fluid. So it was almost like I could start tasting it in the amniotic fluid, because whatever you eat, whatever you take in, it flavors
Yeah.
the water with inside your womb. And I guess that's kind of like how babies get accustomed to adult food, is through what it tastes like in the amniotic fluid. So like Indian people, love to eat curries, and
Or
Thai people
yeah.
love to eat chilies. So the baby's born into being able to digest those spices and flavorings, because that's what
Mm-hmm.
they're used to in utero. So, but I also felt my mum's emotional toxicity as well, which is something I didn't really include in the book. But she was young, 21 years old.
Very
Yeah, didn't really know. She had this pipe dream of being a mother, but when reality hits, it's a little bit different. Um, and she had all the usual fears, I guess, that a lot of women had. But she was also just a highly anxious person, a little bit what I would call needy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so my baby self, when I met her, was kind of like curled up in the fetal position, going like, leave me alone, this is all too much, why did I come here, I don't want to be here. So I gently had to tap on her and reassure her she's safe, and she started to unfold a bit. And yeah, so I started to make some changes for her. So I put a little filter in the water for her, in the amniotic
Oh,
water, so to clean the water for her. And then I put little filters in her energy center, so she could filter out all the bad,
oh.
worrisome feelings that were coming her way, but filter those out, but allow the love to come in.
Hmm.
um so yeah, that was one of the stories that I kind of shared in the book, and then went on to my birth experience, which I'm gonna leave people to read the book.
Yes.
But the actual story of my birth. So what we need to realize is that when a traumatic event happens, that event will keep repeating itself until we go back and we heal it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, my birth story showed up in various different ways throughout my life, but most of us are consciously unaware of it. So when you start becoming aware and go, you know what, this is linked to my birth. And it was actually my mum that helped me, because she told me when I was writing my book what my birth was like. And I went, oh my God, that explains so much.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I worked with my baby self after birth, that was separated from my mum, and she went into the belief that she wasn't wanted and wasn't loved and all of that stuff. But the thing that really went ding in my mind is when she wanted to help all the other babies in the nursery to feel better.
Yeah, that was the amazing part. It was like, oh my God, what is she doing?
Yes. Yeah. And I realized then that was my life purpose being set up in that moment, because my baby self, and very selfishly, we all are like this. We like our environment to be quiet and loving and caring, and when it's not, we want to do something about it because we want to go back to feeling inner peace. Right?
Yeah.
But in that moment, she made this little vow that she was going to help these babies, to not feel separate from their mums like she felt herself. So I realized that was my life purpose, or as my friend Victoria calls it, our life mission. That was when my mission on earth, I think, was started, and that's why I now love, get a passion, get joy out of helping people transform their experience of being in the womb, of experience of birth, to have a bonding experience, even if they didn't actually have one at the time. Yeah, and as soon as I realized that this was what I was meant to be doing, then the universe just aligned itself. So everything just fell into place. All the people came to me that I needed to speak to, all the information came to me I needed to speak to, the support for writing the book came to me, and it's just, I feel a bit like Dorothy, when you go up in the whirlwind and you get planted down, and all of a sudden there's a yellow brick road there, and the Tin Man's there, and the lion
Everything is there. Yes, totally.
Yes. So there you are. I feel like I'm on my yellow brick road now. And yeah, the other part of the story was about what happened to me when I was 26, when I met a man, fell in love. Yeah, we really did that love at first sight for both of us, really. And we had this whirlwind romance, if you like, and then all of a sudden he was just taken away. He was killed. Off the planet he went, or rather he didn't. So I share a little bit about my communication with him, because he didn't actually know that he was dead, because it was something that happened quite suddenly. He didn't know. He was very confused. So and it all unfolded from there. I had 2 years of depression after that experience. Had a lot of grief to process. I didn't have any tools at that time to process.
I can imagine.
Yeah, other than talking to people and going to see mediums and getting messages from him when I could no longer get them myself. But it's been an amazing journey, because I realized that had I not met him, had my soul and his soul not agreed to have that meeting and that experience at 26, I probably wouldn't be teaching what I teach now.
It was so strong. The message was so strong. Yeah. And I think he was so loud, and you were so open, because you were missing him. So I think that you didn't have any doubts anymore in this, like how these realms are working. If you have such an experience that you had, I think that's like a blessing, that you don't have these doubts anymore. Like
Yes.
is there something out there or not? You just know. You just
Yes.
know.
Yes.
So yeah, that was also probably how we could use these tools more like more sovereignly. Like, yeah,
Yes.
I know because I've been there. So
Yes. Yes, including the, our past life experiences. I could see how they linked in with him, ancestral energy, like following my mother and grandmother's kind of pattern. So it all just kind of clicks into place. But
it's also your passion, I think, now, these ancestors, I mean, healing the ancestor lineages. So yeah, it was interesting because we had my grandma from my mother's side also was married 2 times. The first husband also died in the Second World War, and I was like, wow. But probably in Europe, a lot of people have these like experiences, like some grandparents died or relatives died in concentration camps and stuff like that. So I think all these tools are also powerful for healing the collective.
yes.
For example, also for the recent wars like in Bosnia and what's happening now. And so we can do so much healing also with these tools in regard to that, like healing the collective and ancestors. And
Yes, absolutely. And while you're talking, it's just coming to my mind about women or people who get together during a war situation, having lost one partner and then finding another. It's I just the word trauma bonding comes to mind. You've been so traumatized by that loss of that first partner or your parents or whoever you've lost in that war, and then somebody comes along and who's probably gone through similar traumas, and then you end up kind of coming together, and then all of that energy then gets passed on to the children. So I think all of us have that kind of war wound. I'm going to call it now that war wound, that trauma bonding experience running through our DNA. So yes, and remember what I said about patterns repeating themselves until we heal them. So let's do it. Let's heal this energy so we can stop all these stupid wars that are going on.
Yes. I think we should do some circles, like collective circles, with all these tools that are already created, and we are creating also, like adding our parts in it. And why not? That's the next session.
Yeah.
Yes, why not? I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah, I think there's much need for that now,
Yes.
right now, especially. And this book also that we are part of, also this feminine energy, and it was so suppressed for millennia. So it actually, like, we are discovering this, like, this is a power. It's not weakness to be soft.
Yes.
It's weakness to be compassionate. All these parts that we are like, oh, we were like hiding it, because when we were open with that in the past, we were actually abused because of that. And now actually we are claiming to be held with that. And so yeah.
One of the other things that would have been, these are all going to go in my next book, because I do a method called the light matrix method, where I technique where I do all the ancestral work and the past life work. And I really want to start working with people on, I guess, what they call the witch wound as well, where the feminine, where women were suppressed, and men as well. I mean, we're seeing this happening right now, playing out. If we don't like a certain person, then we're going to vilify them and take them down and discredit them, and that's just a new
energy.
Yes, a new same energy, the new form of witch hunt, and the divide that's going on right now is just crazy. So it must be triggering a lot of us who have been in that situation where, you know, we've been healers or we've been people who work with herbs. And, you know, I've had many lifetimes working on the light healer witch side, and probably the working with the dark arts as well. So you know, that's one of the things I teach. You know, you can't just experience, you know, victim lifetimes or healer lifetimes. We also
Thank you
come
for sharing
and,
that one.
yeah.
This is also a very important message. Yes.
Yeah, we are we have been the perpetrators. We've all worked with the dark magic, the dark arts. We've all worked with the light magic, the light arts. So yeah, and many of us have come back having had that vast experience in all of the angles, to help other people just get through this crazy time of transition that we're going in, which is pretty awesome as well.
It's amazing time, actually. But yeah, it's interesting how the voices want to be silenced, and you know, and how we are actually determined to speak our truth now. And it's quite interesting, right? Actually, to observe.
Yes.
So silencing the new era. Actually, it feels like, you know.
Yes. And this is our opportunity to heal those wounds from the past. You know, I always say nobody ever books a session with me or with you when they're feeling great.
No.
I'm feeling really good today. I'm manifesting like crazy. I know I'm going to book a session with Tanja. Yes. But we don't do that. It's like, I have a pain, I have a problem, I have something that's not working right in my life. How can I fix this? I will go and book a session, because this is something that's happening in, you know, repeating in my life. So we're all going through a collective version of that right now. We're all stuck with, you first have to accept where you are before you can heal. So we have to see what's really going on in our lives in order to be able to transform it. And it is uncomfortable for many of us. But we're not going to do the work unless it gets uncomfortable.
Yeah, and it's like you're saying yes to yourself finally. Like before, you were just like scratching and not totally believing it's possible. And now it's like a next phase. Yeah, it's totally possible. And of course, challenges, you know, arises, because it's like, oh, do you really believe it, and stuff like that. And you cannot actually imagine what will come after that. But determination actually doesn't subside; it just grows. And that's what's also fascinating for me. That I was thinking that you know, that all these energies, like about COVID and everything that was happening, that would made people weak, but that it made them actually stronger, you know. And that's what's amazing about humankind, actually. And
Yes, I was just writing about that in my newsletter, because I'm about to launch a new online program called Magic, Miracles, and Manifestation. And I'm going to be sharing the tools that I've used to manifest in my life. I would say, you know, a pretty amazing life. I'm living here in Thailand, you know,
amazing.
On Paradise Island, you know, I'm building a house. I'm extremely happy. You know, opportunities are coming to me very easily, and it's taken a long time, like 50 years, to actually get to that point where I can say, you know what, I really do love life. I'm really enjoying it, and to be able to accept my magic, and know that it's safe to use my magic. It's safe to receive. It's also safe to give as well. And you know, we're here to have desires and to have our desires met, you know. And it's only that past programming that's
creators.
We are creators.
And this is so feminine aspect, to be creators. And when you heal this women part, I mean the wounded women part of yourself, I think then you can become better creator. And like you can like, oh, okay, you know, you're trusting the process. Like you probably, when you are pregnant, you're trusting the process. You're not like, oh, you know, I mean, of course you're anxious, you know, it will be, everything will okay, but in a way, you know, okay, this is the process.
Yes.
So when you're creating whatever you create, or the book or the chapter or the program, it's the same actually energy. So like, first like it's conception and then growing and then birth. So yeah,
Birthing.
magical birth. Yeah.
Yes, and we've all collectively, all 20 of us today have birthed the book
Yes.
onto Amazon.
It's quite amazing because it's 20 women, and it feels even more powerful because of that. And I can really sense them, like they're all around it, and in a way it's amazing support to do a book launch or book like this in this way. Like so many different voices, but the same message actually, Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny, I feel kind of like Emmy, who's kind of like brought us all together, and it's kind of her book idea. She's kind of like the mother, if you like, and we're the mother of the book. And then we got Melissa, who's or Melissa, is it Melissa?
Yeah, Melissa.
Yeah, Melissa, who's kind of like our midwife, who's part of Amma Publishing, who's our midwife for birthing the book, but she's also been part of the book as well.
Also a sister and a midwife. Yeah.
Sister and a midwife, exactly. So yeah. So it's been a very, very fun journey, and actually a very easy journey. I know you had to write your chapter in like a very short space of time. You did amazing.
In 2 weeks. But it was so, I mean, everything was so supportive. It was like, my intention was like, this will be like easy. This is not the struggle. This is now the new chapter of my life, and now I'm not creating through struggle anymore. And that's what it happens, and it was amazing. It was like just just unfolded.
Yes, yes, mine was the same.
That I needed. I think the part that came last, and I didn't have so much time. It was amazing for me because I have like this overworking brain. So I was not like in this process of overachieving and stuff like that, and perfectionism. And so I think it was just perfect timing and everything, like supported.
Exactly. I think it's almost better not having a lot of time to do something, because you don't go into procrastination because you have a deadline.
And you complicate stuff, and you doubt yourself, and all these processes. Can we just tell more about our audio offerings, maybe?
Oh yes, good thinking, Batwoman. So my audio offering, associated with the book, is actually taking people through a guided meditation to go back and connect and communicate with their baby self, whether that's in utero or after birth. I'm kind of like not encouraging people to go to their birth, but we go to either your in utero self or your baby self after birth. And you're literally, as adult I'm guiding you on how to work with your baby self, just to communicate, to connect, to help them feel safe, to clear anything that they've got going on in that moment. So that's my offering.
Oh, perfect. I can see the similarities. I mean, we have similarities in our journeys and also in our offerings. So I had the inner child meditation offering, and it's really similar, but it's not for a baby. It could be a baby also.
Yes.
But yeah, connecting with your inner child and making a space for this inner child, so she can express what she feels. And my husband made the connection with the beautiful music, and it was nice collaboration, something that we didn't do till now with my husband. So I was so excited for this part too. And
wow,
yeah, and some friends of mine already listened to that, and they said it's amazing. So I'm like, oh, that's so. And I mean, yeah, so much joy it brings you when you can share and then you see the effects of that. So yeah.
I can't wait to listen.
This is the reward, I think, that it actually works and the people are enjoying it.
Absolutely.
And all the money for the book, it goes to charity. Actually, that's also very nice and noble thing, I think.
Yes. Yeah. Awesome. So everybody, if you've not already bought the book, then here it is again. It's available on Amazon. Return to the Mother, world. Yeah, and it's available on all the Amazons. We'll put a link at the bottom of this video as well for you, so you don't have to go searching for it. But yeah, that book cover just blows me away every time I see it.
Amazing, powerful, shamanic.
Yeah.
And it will also be available in a printed version.
Yes, on the 6th of October. And we're going to be, all the authors are getting together to do a tele summit as well. And I think that's coming out in October, November time. So maybe November time. So yeah, so I can't wait to learn more about the authors that we're co-creating this, we co-created this book with, and also to read their chapters too.
Yeah, this is our summer book now.
Yes.
No, it's not summer anymore. Oh, no. Yeah, the date ended. So
it's summer all the time here in Thailand. So
yeah, the lucky lady. So yeah, I think we covered it. Yeah,
I think we did. I would know we could talk for hours more, but we're not going to. So thank you for your time.
Yeah, you do.
Cop and car, as they say here in Thailand.
Cop and cop.
Yes, that's very good. All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And yeah, feel free to reach out and connect with us. We'll put all the links below. Alrighty. Take care. Bye.
Bye.